Hello Year 2 and welcome back to day 2 of your newspaper article. Yesterday we found out that Zarafa moved through the country of France and ended his journey in Paris, but not on his own. Crowds of people came to see Zarafa as he walked through the city. Okay, and that's the picture that we saw yesterday. Yesterday you should have chosen the name of your newspaper article. You should have written your byline with the date of the newspaper. You should have chosen a headline, and you should have written your first paragraph of your newspaper, and also you should have drawn your picture and put a caption underneath. Now let me talk through mine as an example. My newspaper is called Le Parisien, and it's called that because it's set in France. I've put the byline by A. McNamara. I've put founded in the 1800s, and then I've put the date Tuesday the 11th of May 1826. Here we have my headline. The headline is supposed to be catchy, short, but tells the story in a few words. And as you can see, it's in capital letters and it's bold, which is the black, the dark black. And I've said, exotic giraffe in Paris. It's true, that's exactly what happened, and hopefully my exotic word will draw the reader in and they will want to find out what's happened. Then the picture I've chosen, obviously I didn't draw it, but you might draw yours or get a picture from the internet if you want to. We have Zarafa walking through Paris. Underneath, the sentence that explains the picture is called a caption. My caption says, Zarafa the giraffe has travelled for miles from Africa. It describes what's happening in the picture. Together we practiced yesterday writing that very first paragraph, which can be called an introduction or the lead part of the newspaper. It's called a lead because it leads you in to the story. When you write this paragraph, you need to try and answer the 6 questions. Who is in the story? Where did it take place? What happened? When did it happen? Why and how did it happen? So I want you to see if I've answered all those questions in my paragraph. Yesterday, a baby giraffe called Zarafa arrived on the streets of Paris after travelling for 2 long years. It is believed that the giraffe was sent by the great Pasha of Sudan as a gift for King Charles X. The baby giraffe was travelling with a servant boy called Atir. Today's lesson is about writing the body of the text and the tail of the text, and I'm going to talk you through it now. Right, children, when you write the main body of your story, I want you to look at number 1 at the top here to help you write it. It says, describe the journey Zarafa took to arrive in Paris. Write the facts. Write the facts in order. She was captured on the plains of Africa. She was strapped to a camel, travelled on a felucca, sailed for 3 weeks on the Mediterranean Sea. Then she had to walk 500 miles to Paris, and this journey took 2 years. Now they are the facts and they are in order, so I want you to use those facts and turn them into sentences. Okay, so that's the main part of the newspaper report. The very last section of your newspaper report is called the tail because it's the end of the report. And number 2 here at the bottom, I have some questions for you to try and answer and then write into sentences for that last paragraph. So the questions are, what is Zarafa like today? Do you think she's grown taller? Perhaps she has. How might you write that in a sentence? In this last paragraph, I want you to write about the event again. How many people came to visit her and why? In the last part of your writing, I want you to try and write a quote. I want you to imagine that you've interviewed some witnesses And a witness is someone who's seen the event in real life. So someone who's seen the giraffe, interview them and say, how did it make you feel when you saw the giraffe? What was the giraffe like? And I want you to think of what they might say and write it as a quotation in your newspaper report. In order to write your quote, you have to think of the names of some people. Now remember, you're in France. Now there are lots of French names that you can choose, and in fact there are lots of French names that you can choose, but really any name goes. But I thought I would help with some French names. So if you look in this yellow box here, there are some French names that I have thought of for you, boys and girls. Louis, Dominique, Florent, Yves, Jean, Manon and Marianne. Okay, so you can choose one of them if you want, or use your own. You can also think about where they are from. Now let me show you my example. Zarafa stood 4 meters tall and was the first giraffe ever seen in France. Thousands of people turned out to see her. People were cheering and desperate for a glimpse of this exotic animal. It was an amazing sight. It is the tallest animal I have ever seen, exclaimed Remy from Montmartre. She was eating from my cherry tree outside my window, and I live on the 4th floor, shouted Elodie from the Champs-Élysées. Now you can see here that I've used speech marks that you learnt about last week with Mrs. Zambi, and I've chosen some French names, Remy and Elodie, and I've also put where they're from, and these are real places in Paris, Montmartre and Champs-Élysées. They're both real places. See if you can do the same. Well done everybody, I can't wait to see your newspaper reports. I'm now going to show you some of the examples that have already been started from yesterday.
Donnez-moi une suite au Ritz, je n'en veux pas. Des bijoux de chez Chanel, je n'en veux pas. Donnez-moi une limousine, j'en ferai quoi? Offrez-moi du personnel, j'en ferai quoi? Un manoir à Neuchâtel, c'est pas pour moi. Offrez-moi la tour Eiffel, j'en ferai quoi? Je veux de l'amour, de la joie, de la bonne humeur. Ce n'est pas votre argent qui fera